Hello, ECE 334 online with Professor Rice. So I just wanted to give some quick updates for this module and just talking about the previous ones, a reflection. So I appreciate you watching this video through the end. First, as a reminder, here's my email if you need anything to answer some questions that you all had. Um, so Field hours. So if you have an ECE, ELE, or EDU course, these hours are done concurrently at the same time. So therefore, if you have two classes with field hours, such as ECE 480 and EDU 477, then you're not doing 60 hours, you're only doing 30 hours. So again, if you have an ECE, ELE, or EDU, those hours are done at the same time. Now, you should still be observing the things that you need to observe. So, for example, if you are doing ECE 480's the science methods and 477's literacy. Science and literacy, there's a lot of overlap. Any good curriculum is going to be interdisciplinary. So, you should be able to do the 30 hours at the same time. Now, if you're doing math and literacy, that might be a little bit different. You might not be able to get all 30 hours done at the same time, but still, you do not have to do 60 hours. If you have an EAL course, those are separate. The EAL and SPE, special ed, and EAL for bilingual ESL endorsement, any kind of endorsement course is going to be different. So, these are done consecutively. So if you have two classes with EAL with field hours, for example, EAL 431 has 20 field hours and EDU 477 has 30 field hours, then you are doing 50 hours. So any EAL hours are separate from EDU, ELE, and ECE. And then with special ed hours, the SPE, check with your instructor. Again, these are most likely also done consecutively, similar to EAL, because any endorsements have very specific state requirements. So just make sure that you're always checking with your instructor about your hours and if you can combine them with other courses. EAL cannot be combined with other courses. ECE, ELE, EDU, these can be combined. In SPE, you need to make sure you check with your instructor to see if they can or cannot. If you have any questions about field hours, please contact me or contact your advisor or the field office for support. These are just some general questions I noticed you all had in the last discussion. So I just kind of they kind of fell in these 5 buckets. So the first bucket was, how do you support students with unique needs, IEPs, ELLs, bilingual students, etc. So any kind of student with a unique need. The biggest thing I would say is differentiation in small group. It's very important to speak to your mentor teacher about this topic because they can give you very specific examples of what they do to differentiate and support all students in their class. Every student with an IEP is going to have very individualized needs and they're going to need something different. So it's important that you talk to your mentor teacher about how they follow the IEP and supports that they use for their students. Same thing, ELLs, they're going to need different supports. So it's important that you speak to your mentor teacher. A student with a 504 will need different supports. So just really speak to your mentor teacher and get as much information as you can from them about how they support students in the class and how they differentiate their instruction. Timesheets. So the comment section of your timesheet, you don't have to put anything in the comment section. If you want, you can write something like general observations, small group, go react video, just a couple of words to say what you did that day. It doesn't have to be, anything long in the comment section of your timesheet. Observation versus active participation. Again, talk to your mentor teacher. You want to ask them, what do they need? Maybe they want you to work with a small group of struggling readers or do a book club with higher level readers. You want this to be as much hands-on experience as possible. So I would say, these first 2 to 3 weeks, you spent the time observing, but now by week 3, 4, you really should be jumping in, knowing the class routines, and be in the full swing of working with students every time you go in, talking to your mentor teacher, and ask them for a job. Ask them to give you a group to work with. Ask them to give you, a responsibility. We're going to talk about the responsibility of doing assessments for this week's assignment in a second. Bilingual Spanish language programming. Again, speak to your mentor teacher about this. Every program does it differently. I can personally tell you what's best practice, what does it say in the literature, but ultimately your mentor teacher will be able to explain their programs and their reasoning. And their reasoning behind their actions in their specific program. So every program does things differently. So talk to your mentor teacher about your specific bilingual language program. So retaliation and education policy. So it was kind of a bucket where some people had mentioned retaliation in the work environment. Some people had mentioned half day versus full day pre-K. Another person mentioned the the use of teacher assistants and SICAs. So finding a way to advocate for your students outside of the classroom, you can do it through a teachers union, you can do committee work. For example, you can be on the local school council, you can be a teacher representative in the PTA or PTO, the parent teacher organization. So there's lots of different, you can start a committee in your school, you can run a committee, you can organize. And then again, legislation, really keeping track of what's going on in the political educational environment, and then using your voice to advocate for students and their families. And now I want to go through work. So the assignment this week was on brain, was on the brain development, and I just kind of want to showcase something that's exemplary. So, and just state out that even though there's no word limit on assignments or discussions, sometimes there is a word limit stated, sometimes there's not. So even if there's not a word limit stated, reflect on the quantity of all the information of the course materials. So for example, this assignment specifically had 4 to 5 links that you were supposed to, videos to watch or things to read, and therefore your each answer should have been more than like 2 sentences. So if you did write 2 sentences and you see that your grade is lower, that's why. You really want to think of quality work and professional demonstration of what you learned. I don't know what you learned or how you perceive the information unless you write it down. So you really want to think about, okay, this is, this is about 30 pages worth of information that I need to summarize down into 3 boxes, right? So how can I show that? How can I show that? You really, 30 pages of information is way more than 2 sentences per box. So if you only wrote 2 to 3 sentences per box and you got a lower grade, that's why. You really want to think about, even if there's not a word limit, is my work reflecting the quantity of the course materials and showing all the information in the course materials condensed down to what I actually learned? And so what I really liked about this is this is very high quality work. So this person broke it down, answered the question by breaking it down by years, which was really showed a deep understanding. And then this person wrote, solid paragraphs to answer the questions. So really solid paragraphs that showed a strong understanding of the material. And then really after you're done working, ask yourself, is this really my best work? Again, am I truly using the readings with fidelity to show what I learned? So if you have 30 pages of material and you're only writing a total of 6 sentences, is that really your best work? Are you really truly using the readings with fidelity to show what you learned? So I just want to add, if you didn't like your grade on the Module 1 assignment, you are welcome to redo it and resubmit it by Thursday. So the next thing is what is due. So we have 2 assignments this week. The first one's the group project. In order to see your group, you click other you go into our course shell, you click other tools, then you click on groups, and then you should be able to see your group members and you can email them and contact your group members. So please make sure you are checking your school email because there is a group project. Again, if you are an online program, it is expected that you check your school email every day, Monday through Friday, because this is the main mode of communication. These are what the different groups are doing. Finally, Module 3 assignments, assessment data. I updated it. There was something on there that was not correct. So if you looked at it already before, please take a look at it again because I fixed it. So this is what it looks like now. Just to clarify, the first thing you want to do is obviously do the readings for the week. After that, talk to your mentor teacher. Obtain suggestions of what assessments they're already doing in the classroom that pertain to phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, phonics, combination of the three, combination of all three. Then you're going to work with a student and administer the assessment in the class. So if your teacher already has assessments that they do, then that is the best option, and that's what you should do. After that, if your teacher does not have it, there's links in the page that you can follow. So this resource is directly from the course materials, and you can see that here it has a bunch of different assessments that you can potentially use. But again, really important, making sure that you are communicating and talking with your mentor teacher. Finally, two more things. So office hours, the next couple of weeks are going to be very important. So the ACT cycle, as we go through the ACT cycle is the foundation of our methods courses. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing these office hours to support you. So if you need help with analyzing your data, lesson planning, feedback, anything like that, please feel free. You can click the links. Please join the office hours for support. Also, be sure, remember, reviewing each step, each module with your mentor teacher, and take advantage of the support. Finally, the last thing in terms of support is Knowledge Cafe. If you click here, you can get to the full calendar of Knowledge Cafe, but this essentially is just the ones that we have coming up for this quarter. This one on the 24th is really great. It's about differentiation. So I think everybody would really benefit from this, especially now that you're in your field hours and there were a lot of questions about it in the discussion. I highly recommend you go to it. The one on the March 9th, I'm teaching that one. And it is about assessment. So again, assessment and using discussion and feedback in order to meet diverse needs and adjust your instruction in real time. So please, I highly recommend you attend these. They will support you in your field hours and make you the best teacher you can be. They're all via Zoom. So I hope that you all are able to, through this, have your questions answered. Again, if you need anything, please feel free to join office hours or send me an email.